making my own records. And like one of the earliest hits that I wrote was for, I'm laughing because they're a great band and everything, but there was an all-girl heavy metal band called Vixen. Remember Vixen? Yeah? So if you remember Vixen, you remember, I've been living on the edge of a broken heart, I don't wanna fall. I wrote that song. I'm just saying. And what's really cool about being a songwriter and producer for other artists is I get to work in every genre of music. I don't have to stick to one thing. So I got to work with Vixen, and then many years later I got to work with one of my heroes and one of my dearest friends, the late great Luther Vandross. And I do this song, I do a little bit of this song every single show because he was, I want people to know, he was as cool and sweet and kind and funny as he was a great singer. And I never want anybody to forget him. And we wrote this song. This turned out to be the last song Luther ever wrote. And we won the Grammy for Song of the Year. Luckily, he lived to see that. And it's called Dance With My Father. If I could get another chance, another walk, another dance again, I'd play a song that never ever end. How I'd love, love, love to dance with my father again. Very proud of that one. What else? Oh, I wrote this song, I wrote a pretty big hit for the group NSYNC years ago. And I produced it as well, which means they asked me to come in and make the record of the song with them. So I worked with them for a few days and nights. And it was kind of interesting because we had to find a studio in the middle of nowhere. Yeah, whatever happened to Justin Timberlake? They were all so badass, really such talented guys, really great guys. And it was really fun working with them, except for one thing. We had to find a studio in the middle of nowhere, because this was like circa 1999. So they were at the peak of their fame. So everywhere they went, there were screaming girls chasing them. So we found a studio about an hour out of Orlando, where they were all based at the time. And we pulled up to the studio, and there were 100 girls in the parking lot, camped out. Somehow word got out that that's where they were going to be. So they had to sneak the guys from NSYNC in and out of the back of the building through a secret doorway. Whereas I just parked in the parking lot. It was fine. So we were in there for like 3 days and nights making this record that became such a big hit for them. And we finished the last night at like 4 o'clock in the morning, and we looked on the security cameras, and now there were 800 girls in the parking lot. So they snuck those guys out the back, and yes, I went out the front. This is a true story. So I'm just about to get in my car to go back to my hotel. And I hear this voice behind me go, hey, excuse me. And I turn around, and walking towards me is one of the most drop-dead gorgeous girls I have ever seen in my entire life. And she walks right up to me, and I went, yeah? She goes, I'm sorry, but are you Richard Marx? I know, right? I was like, yes, I am. She goes, oh my God, my mother loves you. I guess I'll sing this for all you mothers out there. When the visions around you bring tears to your eyes, and all that surround you are secrets and lies, I'll be your strength, I'll give you hope, keeping you faith when it's gone. You should call, standing here all alone, and I will take you in my arms and hold you right where you belong. Till the day my life is through, this I promise you. This I promise you. Oh, thank you. Okay. Oh, wait, I got one more. Because I love singing this song. So, I've also gotten to work with a bunch of great country artists. So, do we have country music fans here? Yeah? I've been so lucky, gotten to write with Vince Gill, who's like one of the greatest guys, one of the greatest singers on the planet. Martina McBride, Leanne Rhymes, Emerson Drive, all these country artists that I've gotten to work with. But my biggest hits on the country charts have all been with Keith Urban. He's my buddy. Okay, there we are. That's just proof that I have met him. So if you're country music fans, do you remember a song that goes, someday baby, you and I are gonna be the ones that good love's gonna shine. Remember that one? I wrote that song with him. Just saying. Just trying to impress you. But my favorite song that Keith and I wrote was just another #1 for him just a few years ago. A song called Long Hot Summer. I can't sleep, ain't no sleep coming. I'm just lying here thinking about you. I'm in deep, falling deep into the picture in my mind of everything we're gonna do. Over at the lake and down by the river, you can feel it start to rise. Wanna jump in my car, go wherever you are, 'cause I need you by my side. It's gonna be a long hot summer, we should be together with your feet up on the dashboard now, singing along with the radio. It's such a beautiful sound. 'Cause when you say my name in the middle of the day, I swear I see the stars come out. When you hold my hand and I look into your eyes, oh, I swear I know somebody else waiting on the sun to go down. The sun to go down. Oh, yeah, yeah. Thank you. All right, enough of that. Back to my songs, the ones that I sang.